Hello and welcome back to 25 Drive Live. My name is Alex Montañez and I am your host. And we have a very special guest with us today. Her name is Clairesse Miljour, and she represents the Goal Foundation, also better known as Get Out and Live. And it's a nonprofit organization.
Correct.
Now, you used to work with Union Grill back in the day,
Yeah.
and then you switched over to the Goal Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about how that all came about.
Okay. Well, so I had volunteered at Goal Foundation during the Ogden Marathon, and I loved it. I was not looking for another job. I was at H25 meeting, our monthly meeting, and Jenny Scothern, who's the executive director of Goal, she was there, and she just mentioned to me, she said, hey, we're hiring, do you know anybody like you that might be interested? And I was like, well, send me the resume. Before I could even drive back down to Union Station, 2 minutes away, I had an email with the job listing. And so as I started to read it, I was like, hey, this sounds like something I could do. Like, I'm already doing all this stuff. I love it. I might as well have it as a job rather than just a volunteer. And so I called Jenny and I asked her, I said, so were you hinting that you want me to apply for this job? And she says, well, Kim was my boss at the time, Kim Bouchard. She said, Kim's a really good friend of mine, and I don't want her to think I'm poaching you. And I said, well, the cool thing about Kim is she's always empowering people and says, learn what you can while you're here, and she knows people are going to move on to other things, and she's supportive.
Well, and I can tell you guys this, that Clairesse, she is so involved, she's so plugged into many different organizations, and we'll talk about some of those organizations too, because you're everywhere. And the cool thing about her is that she has a passion for Ogden, and that's what this whole 25 Drive Live is about, is everything positive Ogden. And I really admire your work. I admire your volunteerism and everything that you bring. So you yourself, aside from all the organizations that you're involved in, are a real tribute to Ogden and to what this community all means. And I was just reading on the Standard Examiner today that we were picked as one of the top streets. They chose a street from each state.
Oh, really?
Yeah, out of 50 states, and we are the ones representing Utah as one of the best streets, the historic 25th Street. And so, Clairesse worked with us with the association, H25, Historic 25th Street Association, and Union Grill, and everybody's just plugged in, and we really kind of cross-connect in various, in all kinds of different places. So, first of all, I want to say thank you for being such a great volunteer. And so you made this transition, and to do something that you really wanted to do. So tell me, how are things going now?
They're going great, and I absolutely love my job. I can say I love getting up and going to work every day. And I've always been a huge advocate of getting people involved in the community, and now that I actually get paid to do that, I couldn't ask for a better position.
So what would you say, since your transition over, and loving such a great and exciting job, because you're always doing different things, what would you say is your biggest challenge so far?
My biggest challenge personally, I definitely think being involved as we are with events. We do 13 events a year. So that's more than an event a month. We get a lot of requests from other events to come in, whether they want volunteer support or they want to borrow some of our supplies. It's hard to say no, but you can't say yes to everybody. And some people don't so basically we have, in order for us to support an event, it has to be a national athletic event.
Oh, okay.
And so we'll get people who decide they're going to put on a triathlon up in the valley or whatever it is. They want to do a 5K, 5K to raise money for breast cancer. And of course you want to provide volunteers, but we have to draw the line. It has to be a national event and it has to be an athletic event.
Okay. So how long has Goal Foundation been in existence?
Well, since the Winter Olympics. So we were founded on the coattail of the Winter Olympics in 2002. We had this awesome group of visionaries who sat together and vision casted and said, what are we going to do? The Olympics are going to come and they're going to go, how are we going to keep this volunteer spirit alive? This is really important, So they went to the board of the Olympics and asked if they could send out an email. And they allowed them to send out one email. So they sent out an email and they said, I'm not sure what this is going to look like, but we're going to plug volunteers into events. And if you want to join, here's how you can sign up. So it all started from there.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, I know, and I don't know numbers or anything like that, but one thing I can tell you about Utah is we are a volunteer state. We have a lot of people that volunteer,
Absolutely.
whether it's disasters, different kinds of things like that, or special events. Now, when you talk about 13, did you say 13 special events? So when you're talking about 13 special events, you are talking about, they're not small events.
No.
They're big events. And so there's a coordination of how many volunteers, for example. What is your biggest event that you put on every year?
Okay, so our biggest event, which is our marquee event, a lot of people ask, how do you make money? How do you fund your staff? It's the Ogden Marathon. So we're contracted by Ogden City to produce the Ogden Marathon, and that's our revenue maker. And this year we'll have 10,000 runners, and we have an expo the day before where the runners come and pick up their bags. We see between 20 and 25,000 people, and then we have
That's amazing.
It's incredible.
Wow.
And we have about 70 vendors at that. And then on Marathon Day, we have a finish line festival. And last year we saw 25,000 people in the rain, so I'm expecting to see at least that this year. And that's a really fun community family event. We invite the whole community to come out. It's not really just for the runners, but we have a stage with live music. We have kids activities, and it's free and it's awesome. So.
Okay, well that's cool. Now, so I'm interested in how many volunteers do you have for the Ogden Marathon? Because that's got to be a massive undertaking.
It is. Do you want to guess?
I'll say 200 volunteers.
No, 1,800.
Wow.
So it's a lot. So
1,800 people. Holy
So-
smokes! And so, but they're not getting anything out of it. You're not paying them.
Nope.
It's strictly I'm volunteering my time and giving. And has it grown every year? Volunteers?
It has. It's been around 1,800 the last few years because we really try to make these positions and fill them. And if more people want to come, that's great. But it's been around 1,800. But it's definitely grown over the last several years. And we have like you said, our community is absolutely amazing. They're so generous with their time. They make it a family event. We have whole families who come out and they volunteer together. People who get in touch with us the day after the marathon, sign me up for next year.
Wow. So I'm trying to calculate all these numbers that Clairesse just told us. Okay, so we got 10,000 runners. We've got 25,000 people that are at the end party, right?
Yep.
And people that are watching the race, family, support systems, all these other folks. And then on top of that, 1,800 people that come. So let's add a few more people to that list. Okay, how many spectators do you have that are lining this whole route of
I couldn't tell you. I mean, I would say probably 1,000 maybe. I'm not sure. I mean, you get like the people who live in the canyon, they come and put a chair out in front of their house. I mean, same along the whole course. So that's a good question. I wish we could maybe we get you as a volunteer to go count them all.
I don't think so.
There you go.
But thanks for the offer.
Yes.
So that's one of the big events, and that's coming up. So give us some details.
Okay.
Details on 12 days. We've got the Ogden Marathon coming, and all these folks. And so where do we get runners from? Where do they come from?
This year so far we have 47 states represented. We have 5 countries, not including the U.S. And just in Utah, when I checked last week, we had 218 different zip codes in Utah.
Wow.
So the economic impact that the marathon brings to our community it's huge. And so we want to get people out and get them excited. We're going to have our expo on Friday, May 20th. It's like I said, there's 70 vendors. So if you like to shop, you don't have to like to run. But it's a really fun place to come and pick up some deals on running apparel, or I don't know, we have all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, and you have a virtual race bag.
We have a virtual
Tell us about
bag. Okay, so a lot of races, all races, the runners go at the expo, they pick up their shirt, they pick up their bib number, and a lot of races will give you a bag to carry that stuff in. We use our bag for when they start at the start line, they put their clothes in it, and it ends up at the finish line to meet them there. So we decided when we have these bags, we get so many people who want to put coupons in them. And really, if you go home and you look in your bag and you have to, a dozen coupons, how likely are you going to just throw them in the garbage? So we found out about this thing to have a green race bag, and it's called the virtual event bag. We've had a lot of great feedback. Alex has been a part of it this will be your third year?
Yep, third year.
Yeah, and so basically, instead of having a bag full of papers and coupons, it's a digital link. They can look at all the offers from anywhere with their digital device, their mobile phone, their computer, and then find about offers like Alex.
Yeah, and it's been really fun for us. I can tell you this: the local businesses do a great business when all these folks are in town. And it's really neat for me from the perspective of getting to meet the runners when they're carving up and and having some pasta and doing those kinds of things. But just the excitement, the electricity in the air, the whole downtown vibe is just electric, And for me, and what I've seen with the race and the course, it is one of the most beautiful courses, that I've seen.
Absolutely. And when we survey our runners, that's the word we come across more than anything else, is it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's the most beautiful course, so. And
do the runners feel pretty safe here? Because I don't know much about, marathons as far as, the courses that are plotted out and how safe and how safe the runners feel. But do they feel pretty comfortable when they come to Ogden for this race?
I definitely think so. Our course is a Boston qualifying course. It's downhill, but it's not the kind of downhill that's going to kill your knees. So we get a lot of people who like it because they end up getting a personal record. They PR on our course because they get a fast time.
All right. So just a rough guess, how many people would you say come back to this race year after year?
I would say, honestly, this is a guess, but I bet you 80%, 85%.
That's amazing. And we can, at my restaurant, they'll make reservations. Oh, we were here last year. We were here the year before, and it's just a tremendous thing because I think we're showing the world. The world gets to take a peek at Ogden. They get to take a peek at this beautiful course. They get to take a peek at this amazing volunteer army, if you will. All these folks that are making things happen. And my question is, I have a lot of questions for you because it's amazing to me. But how do you manage that many volunteers?
It's I'll have to say, so our organization started out without any paid employees, and so we have these people who've been helping with the marathon. This will be our 16th year, the Ogden Marathon 16th year. Yeah, so it's pretty neat. But we have these these positions that we call event team leads. And so let's say Kim Bouchard, her and her husband Pete, they own the half marathon start. So week of the marathon, they come and get all the stuff that they need. I hand off their volunteers to them. I email them, here's your volunteers. They basically go set the whole thing up, get the race started, turn the whole thing down.
Wow.
So it's really just having those key volunteers who can be leads and then passing off our other volunteers who sign up online and then they take it over. So we have 37 of those event team leads. There's so many areas, whether it's production, the full start, the half start, the 5K start, the kids zone, or the kids K. So.
Well, and you have all these other folks that come in and they see this organization that is so well run. And when we see the finish line, when the ceremony is over, things are gone. Quickly.
We are pretty much torn down and done by 4. So, we start setting up on Thursday afternoon, and by Saturday at 4, you wouldn't have even known we're there.
So, what does it feel like when it's all said and done? When the race is over, you're torn down, and you can breathe again. What's the feeling that
you're just buzzing with energy? You've done events on 25th Street, and you're exhausted, but you just feel so. You're just energized. Honestly, it's just the best feeling to know you worked for a whole year so hard on something and it's gone, and I start on next year.
Yeah, and so that's one of the big events that you have. Can you tell me another one that? Let's go back a little bit because you said the Goal Foundation has been around for 16 years. Is that correct?
A little less. The Ogden Marathon 16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The Ogden Marathon 16 years, and then the Goal Foundation was kind of spawned from the Olympics and how to keep the volunteerism alive and how to keep this thing going. So what would you say is like the umbrella philosophy of the Get Out and Live, nonprofit organization? What is the overall thing that you think
Well, I basically want to get people to spectate, participate. We want to get them involved in the outdoors and in their community. And so what we also do is we partner with the Visitors Bureau. And so when they go on court, these national athletic events, like, hey, you should come to Utah, they also have the cherry on top of the Goal Foundation by saying, we'll manage all your volunteers.
Wow.
And so that's a big perk. I mean, you think about, like, we do Xterra Triathlon, all their volunteers. If your event coming in and you don't know a single person in town and you need 300 volunteers on a weekend, it's really nice to have somebody like the Goal Foundation take care of it.
Wow. So and believe me, I know a lot more words than wow, but I'm amazed at this because it's such a huge undertaking, and you do it time and time and time again. And, it's not once a year that you have this big thing. You have once a month these events that happen. And so from the feedback, what is the feedback that you get from the volunteers that that come in? Maybe a first timer that has volunteered for the Ogden Marathon. Do you get any feedback? Do you reach out to them and say, okay, was this a great experience for you?
We do. We survey, and what we usually hear is it's somebody who says, I hear about these marathons and I don't run or I can't run, and I actually get to participate and feel the buzz at the finish line, feel the energy at the finish line without having to run. So they get to feel a part of an event that they probably couldn't participate in if they couldn't volunteer.
Okay. And when you have your end of the year meeting of, you recapped all of the events that you've done, what are you looking for, and how do you move forward and progress into, for the next year of what you guys are going to do and the plans that you're going to do? So, for example, I guess what I'm trying to get at, do you do the same events every year, every month, or do they change? Do they morph? What happens there?
For the most part, like, they're the same. Like, we'll always have the marathon, and we produce the marathon. So when I say we produce a race, we're doing everything from the website, designing the shirts, ordering the shirts, any type of marketing. We do the whole thing. I mean, designing the medals too.
And they do a great job marketing. I mean, they're everywhere, and social media. They're blasting everywhere, and it's great because you get these up to the minute updates. When you're trying to, nothing's old. The data that you guys put out is not old. It's like right.
We have a really great team. We do. I mean, there's only 6 of us. And we're all really efficient and manage our time wisely. But yeah, so like we produce Ogden Marathon, and then we also this is our second year producing the Striders Winter Race Circuit. So we bought that a couple years ago, and then besides that, we support events. So this year we had the National Snowshoe. They came, and there was people who actually ran half and full marathons on snowshoes.
And didn't you have a fat tire race?
Yep.
Was that part of your organization too?
Yep. And so that same event, we also had the National Fat Bike Championships.
Fat bike,
yeah. And so the snowshoe was new to us this year, and that's where the Visitors Bureau comes in. They say, hey, we're trying to get this snowshoe event here. It's a national event. Can you do volunteers? And so we do. Okay,
so when the Goal Foundation is starting to put all these things together, who are your partners besides the volunteers? Who are your partners in the community that help pull all this stuff together for you?
Well, we have so many communities. I hate to name people because I don't want to leave anyone off. But I mean, of course, we have our sponsors. Like Science Bank is the sponsor of the Ogden Marathon. But more than just a sponsor, they're employees. I mean, they bring hundreds of people out who just want to volunteer. And so,
and I agree with you. You don't want to leave anybody off on the list because everybody's volunteering, and so I agree with you. But it just seems like everyone's plugged in from from restaurants like me participating to the merchants on 25th Street and down at the junction, all over the place. And I got to think that you're also getting support from the hospitals.
Yep,
those kinds of things.
She's a sponsor, yeah.
Yeah.
And they do an incredible job at providing medical attention at our finish line and along the whole course.
And one thing that I know about the Goal Foundation is that they really include everybody. It's not, they don't play favorites or anything like that. They just include everybody. If you want to volunteer, trust me, they will take
I'll
you.
put you to work.
Yes, she'll put you to work. And when she says work, she means work. That's why I stay away.
It's a lot of work. And so last year we experienced terrible weather. I mean, it rained from the minute the race started until that night at 6 p.m. when we were loading trucks. It did not quit. And I tell you, the runners were out there, and I was very proud of them. It's really hard to run a race in freezing rain, but the volunteers who stood there and cheered them on the whole day, that was such an incredible feeling.
Oh yeah, and they line all the whole way. If you've never experienced a marathon before, and if you were running, this is what you'd see. You'd see people with bottles or cups of
Yep.
Gatorade or drinks or whatever, and they're handing them to you to make sure you're hydrated.
Yep.
And I think, do they even give them power bars or snacks?
Cliff Bars.
Okay.
So really the backbone of our volunteers in the marathon, they're called our aid stations or water stations, and we have 17 of them all along the course. And so each one of those is owned by, or hosted, I'll say, by an organization or a volunteer. We have one lady who just likes to get all of her friends. And they have to come and pick up all the supplies. Some of them pick up 100 to 155-gallon water jugs on top of Cliff Bars and bananas and fruit. Excuse me. And they rally all their volunteers, and they each have about maybe 40 volunteers. And they just stand out there all day, and they cheer them on and high-five them and hydrate them, and it is so cool.
Let me ask you this on your relationship with Ogden City.
Mm-hmm.
How strong are
It's strong.
the binds there?
Oh, we couldn't do it without them. They are incredible. They have such a good team. They support everything we do. I mean, you think about on Marathon Day, how many road closures we have, how many people we just have along the whole course, the park, the finish line. I mean, think about making sure the sprinklers don't go on this park, or making sure we can get water over here on the parkway. And I mean, there's so many little logistics that go into it, and they just execute it 100% every year. They do an incredible job.
Now, the mayor of Ogden,
Mm-hmm.
he also is an athlete too, and he rides and he does those things.
Uh-huh.
Is he a runner as well?
He hasn't run it since I've been there, but he is a founding member of the Goal Foundation. He was one of those people sitting in a room being like, what are we going to do? How are we going to keep it alive? And so he's very involved with Goal. And at one point, he was the president of Goal.
And I remember working with Goal with the previous company that I had, and working with Mike. So so I remember Mike from back in the Goal Foundation days, and now he's the mayor and doing a great job for Ogden City. And then we also have Mark Johnson that you work with, and we've got Christy McBride.
Christy's amazing. So Christy's husband Mike works with us at Goal Foundation.
Oh, does he?
And so we get to see Christy a lot. And Christy, when I was talking about the event leads, Christy's one of our event leads, and she's in charge of the Finish Line Festival. So as I'm up at the expo trying to get it torn down, she's down here meeting and greeting vendors and placing them where they go in the park. And then I can hand her 20 volunteers, and she'll put them to work. So Christy's a key component to the marathon.
Excellent. Well, so you have volunteers, you've got the city working together, you've got the Goal Foundation, you've got small businesses.
I have to tell you about our youth program.
Yes, please do.
Okay, so as part of our give back to the community, we have a youth program called the Young Runners Program, and we partner with 11 inner city schools and a Boys and Girls Club and YMCA program. We go into these schools at minimum once a month the whole school year. And the kids who participate are our young runners. They get this really cool tie-dye t-shirt. You might see some kids running around Ogden in these awesome tie-dye shirts that say Goal Foundation. And if they participate for the whole school year, they earn their entry into the Kids K or the 5K. And it is such a cool program because a lot of these kids, we hear like their parents would say, I would have never signed them up for a marathon. And they do it, and the kids love it. Their families come out, cheer them on. And it just sparks something inside of them that they never really knew they enjoyed. And so these kids now, we're seeing them going into junior high and wanting to run track. And it's a really neat thing. And as we're working with these inner city schools and the kids who are in after school program, we started realizing that they didn't have appropriate running shoes. I mean, they were wearing flip-flops and snow boots and...
Flip-flops,
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. And just they didn't have the right stuff. So now we buy shoes, and we do as many as we can a year. Actually, next week we're going to go into the Boys and Girls Club and put brand new shoes on every kid.
Wow. See, and I mean, to me, I just got like a shiver because it's just such a touching thing. But you're also, giving them because if they have the right tools, which is a great pair of shoes to run in, they're going to love it even more. Because I can see, as soon as you said flip-flops, I'm like, wow, but they still come out to try it.
They do. And we make them promise. We give them their shoes. So first we go into the school and we actually measure them. So we go and pick out shoes specifically for this child.
No one size fits all?
Nope. We go in, we measure their stinky little feet. They're stinky. And then we go back and we give the shoes to the kids. And you can't even believe the look on their face. And how many of them who say, I have never had brand new shoes. These are my first pairs of brand new shoes, And do I have to leave them here? Nope, you get to take them home. It is the cutest, most rewarding thing. It's my favorite days at work.
So what are the ages of these children?
Elementary age.
Okay,
so
they're
anywhere from kindergarten, and we have some teeny tiny kids up to 6th graders.
Wow, that is amazing. Yeah. That's really cool. So let's talk a little bit of business here. Okay, so how do we get in touch with the Goal Foundation?
Okay, you can visit our website at getoutandlive.org or ogdenmarathon.com. It'll take you to the same landing page. And if you want to sign up to volunteer, just click on the volunteer tab. There's an option that says join our mailing list. That's the best way to stay in touch. And if we have a volunteer opportunity coming up, we send out a link. It's no pressure. We're not going to spam you with a bunch of emails, but really easy to do. Click on the link, pick your shift, and sign up. It takes a minute.
Okay.
So that's probably our website would be our best way.
Okay, and do you have a Facebook page as well?
We have the Get Out and Live Foundation is our goal Facebook page. And then the Ogden Marathon is our marathon page.
Okay, so that's the best way to get in touch with you. Is there an email address for people to send requests to or request more information?
Yeah. So if you just send it to volunteer@goalfoundation.com.
I appreciate you taking time to come and do 25 Drive Live.
Thanks for the invite.
This is our, our 3rd episode.
Awesome.
And, so we would love for you guys to subscribe to this channel because Clairesse, I'm sure we're going to be inviting you back because I'm sure we've just touched the tip of the iceberg of everything that you do and everything that is culminating in Ogden. And that's the whole reason why we have this channel is because we want to just talk about all of the positive things, all of the great people that make this city really a shining example on the hill. That's the way I look at it. And you can tell by the accolades that we're getting nationwide, including the article I just mentioned not too long ago that was in the Standard Examiner of us being one of the streets out of 50 states. There's 50 streets that they've got a list, and Historic 25th Street is one of them.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And
I just have to say, you're saying so many nice things about me being a community shining star, and Alex, man, you're involved. You do so much for Ogden, and I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, and I love it. I love Ogden. So when you love what you do, it's not hard.
Easy.
It's not hard.
It's easy to brag about the things you love, right?
That's right. So if you like our channel, subscribe to it, and there'll be some links in the comment section down below, and we'll have some links to Clairesse's organization, the Goal Foundation, and her Facebook pages, and everywhere that you can get in touch with her and find out more about what the Get Out and Live nonprofit organization is doing, because they're doing a lot, and they always do. And so it's great to stay on top of things so that if you feel like, you can volunteer for this fantastic organization, they can use you. And
we still have a spot for you to come run. If you see this before May 21st, come do the 5K with us. Anybody can get up and do a 5K.
We will post this before the 21st.
Great. So we invite all of you to sign up. We still have some 5Ks.
And you have room for more volunteers as well.
We do. We would absolutely love to have you. We're always posting volunteer opportunities on our Facebook page.
Okay, so we'll have all that contact information for you guys, and check it out. And I would ask you, please share this page with everybody that you know. So they can see you.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for sharing your your likes and dislikes. Well, we didn't hit your dislikes. That'll be next time.
Next time.
Right.
I like everything. So
thank you for joining 25 Drive Live. Have a great day, and we'll see you again next week.